all back together, got the battery charging. I did do one other mod before I put it back together, or after I put it back together, I guess. And that was I did drill a hole in the gas filler cap. Pretty small hole. But, you know, I didn't really think it through. There is no venting on this thing. So when I filled I put some gas in and I ran the pumps for a little bit. And then I pulled that cap off and it was like a vacuum. So there's no way for air to get in or out since I plugged the hole in the auxiliary, or that little vapor tank. So the vapor tank's still plugged, but I did drill that hole. And what else did I do here? Oh, I also, let's see if we can see down here. Underneath the car here. So I did trim off a little bit of that exhaust butterfly valve. Just to give a little more space, and then I flipped, there was an exhaust hanger that was hanging down, which I also flipped that over. But I could use another inch. So I think what I'm going to do is, if we look how the car sits here, this is pretty common for Z cars. When you get the aftermarket spring kits, that the back is lower than the front, which it is. So it's probably a little bit hard to tell on camera, but the back is about an inch shorter, or an inch lower than the front. So I'm going to find some springs for the back, either springs or a spacer. I think springs would probably be better. And raise that up an inch, and that'll buy me another inch of ground clearance on the bottom. So that'll probably fix my drivability issue where I have to worry about running over stuff and scraping that exhaust. So anyway, let's try to get it started here. I put another 5 gallons in. So we got 10 gallons of fresh gas, and it should start up. I did clean out the idle screws on the carb. So I'm guessing it'll start right up. It always does, even though it's been like a year. But let's give it a shot. And before I start it, so on this muffler has a little valve inside, and it closes when you're kind of driving at like a highway, like a constant RPM, and it does a great job of preventing like the exhaust drone noise inside the cabin. But the downside is, since it's limited space, I had to mount it like vertically, so it's mounted like up. So once the car is warmed up, it's fine, but when you first start it, you're gonna hear like a clicking, like a banging from the exhaust, and that's what that is. It's that valve. It takes a while to warm up. GoPro, stop recording. All right, we got it started. It's idling a little bit rough right now, but it needs to warm up. So I'm gonna go ahead and back it out of here so it doesn't fill my barn up with smoke. And we'll let it warm up for a while, make sure everything gets back to idle, a good idle. Close that up. So I'm gonna go ahead and back it out. So I'll just leave her out here for a minute, let her warm up, make sure it's not overheating. And the reason I'm doing that is it's been a while. It's been like about a year since I've had this thing out to warm it up, so I'll make sure like the fan turns on and you know, everything, it idles and everything okay. All right, it's warmed up. Fan's going. Oh, fan just turned off. Right there. Everything looks pretty good here. No bumping or missing. Nice and smooth fuel pressure. Well, I unplugged my microphone at this point, so I'll just kind of narrate the last portion of this video here. I'm gonna get in the car real quick and look at the gauges just to show how they are looking. The oil gauge has a light on. The light is actually programmable. I need to set that so it turns off or at a higher PSI, which is probably what I'm talking about here. It's water, looking good, 190, and etc. etc. Man, I'm really talking about something there. Okay, then we have fuel. Yep, that's fuel, looking full. And then we got the RPM, looks pretty constant, not bumping around too much. The cam's kind of aggressive, but it's actually idles pretty decently once it's warm. So that is that. Now I go ahead and pull it back in here. This is kind of boring with no engine sound, so I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. Anyway, thanks for watching, and if you like what you see, stick around. I'll be posting more of these.